Abigail King, and this is my project on what it would look like if I ran for the sheriff of San Diego County. The position is currently held by Kelly A. Martinez. She assumed office on January 2nd, 2023, and she will leave her position on January 4th in 2027, making the upcoming election in 2028. The responsibilities of this role are managing the all-county law enforcement in San Diego, managing the 7 jails in San Diego County, managing all San Diego courthouse security, and then also managing the $1.2 billion budget and the 4,700 employees of the San Diego Sheriff's Department. Okay, so here we have snapshots of the application that I would need to fill out in order to campaign. On the left is just the front page of the application, and on the right is a checklist of questions to determine my eligibility in order to run. These are questions regarding how long I've been a peace officer, if I have a criminal record, etc. The fee for filling out a campaign application is 1% of the peace officer's salary. So that varies depending on what your salary is. Next, I'm going to go over funding for my campaign. We would need about $100,000 to fund this campaign, and that money would go to paying for a campaign managing staff, and then also a lot of advertisement and then other miscellaneous costs. We can advertise through billboards and TV ads, and there's other means too. Some of the primary ways to raise funds are, of course, PACs. PACs can give up to $30,000 to our campaign. We get that number because, one, they cannot take money from corporations or labor unions, but they are allowed to give a campaign $5,000 to a candidate committee per election, and also $10,000 between primary and general elections, and they're also allowed to give $15,000 to a political party committee. This would leave us with $70,000 to raise. So to cover that cost, we could turn to companies and unions. For instance, some companies, like construction companies that build jails, often are willing to donate money to certain sheriff campaigns. And then also surveillance companies follow along those same lines. Then there's also unions. For instance, the Honorary Deputy Sheriff's Association Union in San Diego would be someone we would reach out to see if they would be willing to donate money to our campaign. An interesting example of this is the San Diego County gun owners. This is a PAC focused on gun owners' issues in San Diego, and they gave money to Kelly Martinez's campaign back when she was running. Okay, next I want to talk about how I would run my campaign. The first issue I would run my campaign on would be homelessness. I think that as the sheriff's department overhead, I could really manage cracking down on illegal drug sales. This would help the homelessness crisis because so often people who are homeless are in that situation because they have a drug addiction. Not everyone, but many. So if we could reduce the amount of drug addictions that are happening through illegal sales of drugs, we could reduce the number of homelessness as well. And then second, I would want to examine what's going on within the department itself. Recently, there was a story from August of this year that there was a lawsuit against the San Diego Sheriff's Department because someone had claimed that an officer used inappropriate force when arresting and taking a mugshot of an individual. So I'd want to investigate that and then just clean up anything that might not be executed appropriately within the department, because I think it's important for people to trust that there are good practices going on within their sheriff's department so that they can be trustworthy. Okay, and then for my staff, I'd have a campaign manager, a communications director, a finance director, and a field director, and a digital social media manager. The campaign manager is in charge of overseeing the overall strategy and operation of the campaign. The communications director would be managing media relations and messaging to the public. The finance director would handle, of course, all of our finances and our budget for all of the fundraising money that we bring in. The field director would oversee the voter outreach that we do. The digital and social media manager would be in charge of our online presence and our advertising. This would total around 10 to 30 primary staff members, and then the groundwork would often be done by volunteers who get involved in the campaign. They would go out and talk to people on the streets about what issues we're running on and encouraging them to vote or run for public office. I do have a passion for policy and politics in general. I've always been a little bit of a political nerd, so I definitely have an interest. I have a love for this country, and I've always had an interest in serving it in some way. However, I am unsure if it's my career calling. I have other skill sets that I may be called to lean into, but we shall see. Thank you for listening to my presentation.